first point that we have been picking up during the day is that standardization is essential, and it's essential for different reasons. First of all, for building trust in the market. We have policy advice, in fact, that the documents that I showed before lunch, one of them is specifically dedicated to standardization of contracts, and that speaks to exactly that, to build trust in the market. Standardization is also important for scale. You can build up larger portfolios of similar projects, so it also supports the scaling up of the ESCO business. And finally, standardization is important for finance. So without taking standardization too far, I mean, there are also limits to how far you can go with that. It is an essential building block for promoting the ESCO business model. We also learned in discussions today that maybe the awareness in the ESCO business of processes that can support the ESCO business, and that maybe particularly in the climate change agenda, is not well understood, and definitely not something that ESCOs are aware of, and something that could potentially build additional momentum for the ESCO business model. So we mentioned the NDC process, the nationally determined contributions that are being updated now under the Paris Agreement. That is something that we encourage you to look into, and we are here to support to the extent that we can. It may be helpful in bringing the ESCO model to the attention of a broader audience, and particularly as an instrument for supporting the energy efficiency targets that countries are now defining or updating, upscaling in their nationally determined contributions. So we strongly encourage you to look into that as an opportunity right now over the next 1.5 years until submissions have to be made in 1.5 years in Brazil. We also talked about financing instruments, and we talked about a lot of things. I mean, even though we only had two main topics on the agenda today, I think we have been really around all kinds of aspects related to ESCOs, the two topics being regulation and finance. I think what came out of our financing panel before, a lot of interesting topics and stuff, but particularly maybe that guarantees is a misunderstood and underused instrument in the market for ESCOs or ESCO services. And maybe that grant financing is one of the most misused instruments in supporting energy efficiency. It's really not necessary. It's disturbing the business model of ESCOs. So turn down the grants and turn up for the guarantees. I think that is one message, a very strong message from the financing panel. It remains complex, as the entire business of ESCOs does in many different aspects of the ESCOs. That's why we're meeting here. That's why we're running over time. There's a lot to discuss, a lot to learn also from each other. So I think I will just conclude with the observation that we probably need to be here. I mean, the network is essential. Collaboration, exchange of experience, building this network, expanding the network is essential for promoting the ESCO business model, and that's what we're here for. I will leave it to Pierre to be the very last of the last speakers to round off. I would just say, maybe before that, a deep thanks to, well, not only you for coming here, but also to our panelists for providing their insights, and not least to Federico for putting this whole thing together. But without you, this wouldn't have happened. That's for sure. So with that, Pierre, the last few words.
Yeah, thank you, Søren. So I think we prove our point that having this kind of meeting is of interest. Our goal was to bring the practitioners, the people who are interested in that wonderful concept of energy performance contracting together, to debate, to exchange, not necessarily to agree all the time, but these debates are very interesting. I think the fact that you're all there make us believe that there's a need, that there's an interest. We can easily conclude that energy performance contracting is growing, it's of interest, but it's still challenging. And it's different from one country to the other. Our environment are different, our legal system is different, our environment are different, our financing structures are different. But we'll come to the point that what seems to be too good to be true can happen. And we believe the Global ESCO network is there to support all of you. A little bit of a conclusion as well for yesterday, where we met the ESCO associations. The idea that we had at the beginning, thanks to Mark to have the vision, and thanks to Søren to put it together at the beginning and mobilize all of us at some point, is that these associations are the core of what we should support, essentially because they do support the market in their own respective environment. And these ESCO associations are necessarily it's a challenge because they're not very wealthy, they don't have a lot of capacity, they rely very often on volunteers, and there's so much that can be done by volunteers, so we believe that our own level, the production of these documents, the think tank that we're having, the best practitioners coming together and thinking about what we can do is worthwhile. So I think we prove altogether that the Global ESCO network has a reason to be there. It's still relying on volunteers, and it's relying on all of you, so we'll continue to outreach to all of you. We do have some plans for next year. We've talked about it with the ESCO Association. We're going to still think about it, but you're all welcome because the Global ESCO network is essentially you. It's not the one who are volunteers and sitting in front here, but essentially all of you who are participating or providing your inputs. And I think it's providing a lot of good added value to the whole community. So I think we discussed that the possibility to have something like that next year, to find a place where we will be even more people, bring maybe the financing community, bring maybe the legal experts, the accounting that are critical, bring not only the practitioners, but the people who are contributing to all that. So I will continue to the thanks, and you stole a little bit of my thanks, but I'll say it again. Federico, obviously, who basically all the fort for us and did everything that made this happen. Søren, that's been at the UNEP a core believer in the whole thing. Without him, nothing would have happened. Mark and the EVO team who supported the whole thing, they're there in the shadows, but they're essentially bringing so much. And all the funding fathers, I will not name all of them, but all the ones who have spent hours and hours reading these documents, producing them, thinking about them, and trying to make the most out of it. So thank you to all of you. Make it possible. And I think the last word is probably see you next year somewhere.